It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time to show some love to some black wrestlers.
It is time to show love for black excellence, Greg. It is a show that I've been looking forward to for a minute.
Yes, and coming off the heels of one of the biggest weeks for wrestling, with Swerve Strickland becoming AEW World Champion, with Willow Nightingale becoming the TBS champion and ready to face off against Mercedes Moné at Double or Nothing. And
Trick Williams just won the NXT Championship.
I was just about to say that. Trick Williams won the NXT Championship. Athena, of course, doing her thing as the Ring of Honor Women's Champion over 500 days. One of the top 5 longest reigns in Ring of Honor history, which, mind you, goes back to 2002. One of the longest title reigns of all time. And, of course,
Isn't this one of the longest women's title reigns, period, end of all time? Of course, you've got the ridiculously long runs of, like, Moolah and them back in the early days. But, like, is this the longest modern era women's championship run?
She is. If she hasn't passed Asuka, she's getting damn close. Because Asuka was champion in NXT for about 500. I think it was more than that.
Asuka's NXT title run. There's no A in reign, or at least that form of reign. Wow, I about sounded really stupid.
Happens.
Give my laptop a second to load up here. Come on, dinosaur.
It must just be a slow day for, like,
technology as a whole.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Which, speaking of technology, and we'll get back into our topic, Biden signed the bill to shut down TikTok.
I did see that, and I don't use TikTok. That bothers me absolutely none in the slightest. But that affects a lot of people's livelihoods. A lot of people make money through that. A lot of people get their revenue through that. And by the way, Asuka, 510.
510. So likely Athena will pass that. Unless she, like, defends the title in the next couple set of Ring of Honor TV tapings, which I doubt. So
don't forget about Moose. Moose also holding the TNA World's title.
Yes, Moose does hold the TNA World Championship, successfully defending it against Nick Nemeth. It's been a banner week, really, to show how much talent is really out there.
Oh yeah.
So let's get it started. Let's start off with really the biggest news of Swerve Strickland becoming AEW World Champion. I thought, especially a couple of years ago when it was him and Keith Lee in that feud with the Acclaimed, I saw Swerve as a world champion, but I saw him as, like, a mega heel world champion.
Oh yeah.
Because that the audience was really reacting to Swerve at that point, and they really, like, hated him, wanted to see him get his ass kicked. But he must have gained the respect during the Continental Classic, and prior to that with the feud with Hangman.
I want to say it was the feud with Hangman that really brought it out. Well, there was also his work that he was doing with Darby before that, but it was really the work with Hangman which transitioned into him pseudo feuding with MJF and then getting into the world title with Joe.
And fan fell in love with him, and of course, Prince Nana helping along with the Nana dance, which I've done a couple times on there. It's been quite the meteoric rise for Swerve, and well deserved. He had something special when he was with Hit Row in NXT. So to see him break out on his own and have the success that he's having, it's awesome to see. You love to see it. You absolutely do.
Yeah. And he's going to have a long run with the belt.
I
He
hope so.
easily. Well, can you name me some like 3 people on the main roster not injured currently that could take it from him? Only person logistically see is Jay White, and they gotta do a lot with him to do that.
They've got a lot of rehabbing to do with Jay White because, like the feud with the Acclaimed and the Guns, it went on for a very long time, but
And then they became friends, and then 3 weeks later they turned on him again.
well, I'm talking about before Jay White was even involved. I'm talking like when they were feuding over the tag titles.
Oh yeah,
That feud dates back so long, and like Jay White has, especially since his match with MJF, has kind of taken a back seat. And the trios championships are a good idea in theory, but the execution of it,
they literally just had to merge both of their trios titles because it's too much gold, it's too much platinum to be trying to book 2 sets of trios titles, 2 sets of tag titles, 3 sets of women's world titles. Like, there's a lot of gold over there.
yeah. And like the only good trios feud I've seen is with Death Triangle and the Elite when they had that best of 7.
House of Black actually pulled out a little bit from the Acclaimed that I enjoyed, but other than little bits here and there, I feel like House of Black should have had like a 2-year run with the trios titles if they were going to do anything with that.
Yeah, you would think. But anyway, getting off.
That's not the topic of the show.
It's not the topic of the show. So Swerve is AEW champion. As far as heels go that could take it from him, I don't see any as of right now that could take it from him. I could see possible feuds with people that he would beat. I feel like they're gonna bring Hangman back at some point to.
They gotta do feud number 3 with them, especially since Hangman did get hurt so middle of the last run that they were doing with him.
Yeah. So Hangman's probably one. Maybe Christian Cage.
I could see Christian Cage. How much longer can we really milk Christian, Killswitch, and Nick Wayne?
I feel like maybe that stable's coming to an end sooner rather than later, and maybe that will eventually lead to a possible Adam Copeland and Christian Cage
tag
run. Because that's going to end up with Killswitch, Luchasaurus turning on Christian Cage. Mm-hmm. I'd say Jack Perry, but he just came back as a possible feud.
But he's looking like he's going to be with the Elite, so there's a good chance, storyline-wise, Matt and Nick just like, you helped us out. Go ahead. Go do what you do. Or he's going to go straight for the TNT title.
That's possible. It also feels way too early for Will Ospreay to be challenging for the world title. Like, maybe down the line, maybe like All Out or Full Gear. Not Double or Nothing.
No, I feel like Double or Nothing might be a little too soon.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's really hard because, when you crown a new champion and you don't have an immediate plan for him, and people will complain about this, and people complain about it on Monday about, crowning a champion or a number 1 contender in a battle royal. Listen, you can start a brand new story with a battle royal. It's fresh. It makes sense. I am very much a proponent of battle royals determining champions and contenders.
Bro, a battle royal is the perfect reset button match. Oh, fuck. We just had a bad injury. We had this planned out for the next 3-4 months. Fuck. Injury, you got to drop the belt. Battle Royal, Royal Rumble, stuff of that ilk, perfect reset button. Hell, you could even do a gauntlet match, and I can guarantee people would have been pissed with the people that were in it.
Oh, yeah, but As far as Swerve goes, and like I know Tony Khan loves his battle royals and his tournaments and whatever the case may be, but I don't feel like doing a tournament for Double or Nothing is a good idea because you don't have that much TV time before Double or Nothing. You want to start building your World Championship match for that show sooner rather than later.
So I do have one really weird thing, and that's the fact that I've booked this out so far mentally. Because JJ said Ospreay v Swerve at All In Wembley. Save that for just a little bit longer, because the very next pay-per-view event that they have, I believe, is Wrestle Dream in Tacoma, Washington.
Well,
about 45 minutes from Aberdeen. You can do Swerve versus Danielson. Swerve got his name really through Defy, which is a Seattle-based promotion. Yeah. You do Swerve versus Danielson in Washington State. Not only do you have one of the most conflict of interest matches for that arena, but you've also got potentially one of the most banger matches that we might see this year.
Oh, yeah. Danielson and Swerve would absolutely tear it up. But you figure before that, you have Double or Nothing, you have Forbidden Door, which there's not going to be a title change in Forbidden Door unless there's multiple titles on the line, like we saw with FTR and the tag belts. You have All In, All Out, and then you have Wrestle Dream. So it's still a ways away.
Is Wrestle Dream? I thought All Out was after. I thought All Out was in October.
I think All Out. I mean, last year they did All In and All Out like really damn close together, like a week or two apart.
Yeah, give me just a second, because I know that they released their full pay-per-view schedule. Yeah, here we go. So Double or Nothing is in a month and 2 days. Forbidden Door is June 30th. Yep. All in London, August 25th. Yep, you're right. All Out is Labor Day, September 1st. Wrestle Dream is in October. So I had the two mixed.
There you go.
And that is exactly what I was thinking, JJ. You have Swerve beat Danielson in the middle of the ring. Danielson goes out on his sword in front of his crowd. What better way to end that, man?
Yeah.
And get Swerve that insane win, and then you could probably have him drop it either at Full Gear or World's End. Greg's back.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I think StreamYard's having a seizure. Yeah, I'd be fine with that, and because Danielson's career is winding down, and he, as much as we love him putting on the bangers like he did against Ospreay this weekend, we don't need he's going to want to retire eventually, and maybe do like a match a year or something like that. But that would be a good way to go out is with a world championship. Moving on from Swerve, Willow Nightingale became the TBS champion.
Same night
at Dynasty, and is going to be facing Mercedes Moné at Double or Nothing. A rematch from their matches.
Strong women's title match.
Yes. Because in that match was the match where Mercedes got injured. And he was told that was a possible career-ending injury, which I would have been completely devastated if that was the case. But fortunately,
well, yeah, didn't she absolutely destroy from her ankle up to middle of her shin?
Yeah, she messed herself up pretty good. So I'm very glad to see that she's going to be back. And that's probably why they're not having her compete until Double or Nothing. And it is kind of building up where it's going to be Mercedes getting her win back because Willow beat her in that mini tournament. And I will never complain about gold on Mercedes Moné. You will never hear that from me.
I won't complain, but my thing is use this match, have Mercedes put over Willow, but make Willow look good, make Mercedes look like $1 million, and then you can easily slide Mercedes into the World Championship picture because
You think?
TBS title really? Do you really want her to hold the mid-card title?
But listen, I think that it makes perfect sense to keep Mercedes away from Tony, which I don't think if Mercedes does go for the women's championship, that it's going to be with Toni Storm.
No. Tony is dropping the belt here soon. I don't know if it's going to be at All In London.
I feel like she may drop it at Double or Nothing to one of two people returning. It's either going to be Britt Baker or it's going to be Jamie Hayter.
I see Hayter. I don't know about Britt Baker getting... she's been off TV for over a year at this point.
Yeah.
Or at least what feels like over a year.
Yeah, because I think I went to the Dynamite probably about this time last year, right before Jamie Hayter went down. So it's got to be, she's got to be coming back soon. We haven't heard anything about Jamie Hayter's injury.
I could have swore I saw something early this morning from like Dark Puro WrestleFlow or Twitter channel like that was saying there's still no timetable on the return. Injury might have been worse than initially feared, but the thing is, it was just a shoulder sprain, wasn't it?
It's possible that was similar to the injury she had before, and she just wants to make sure. I don't know. Josh is asking, not that. That's
JJ hopped in as soon as you clicked that.
Yeah. Tony versus Hayter, Mercedes versus Britt at All In.
It would be a good way for the belt not to change hands off of Tony in London.
Yeah.
I understand she's not from London. She spent a lot of time in London.
Yeah.
British UK scene. But I'm pretty sure Tony's a Kiwi, isn't she? Or is Tony Australian?
She's from Australia, I think. Josh is asking if that happens with Britt, does she get Charlotte type? Why would she?
I think so, because of her going immediately to the top for it.
Britt is a one-time champion. One.
Yes.
It happens with Charlotte because Charlotte is a 14-time champion.
Yes, but Britt is one of the more natural heels that AEW has as a female.
I don't think she gets that kind of heat. And maybe,
not in Pittsburgh, she doesn't.
Well, no, not in Pittsburgh. But I don't think, especially since she's been off TV for so long, I think people will be happy to see her. It's different with Charlotte because Charlotte, came back from an injury to face Ronda Rousey the same night and won the title. She was not announced for the show. She came back and won the title that night. It's like,
Now, if they do that with Britt, then yes, she's going to get that immediate type heat. But
I don't even think it's heat. I don't see the connection here, and it has nothing to do with the Pittsburgh bias.
Oh no, I wasn't even saying that.
Well, no, Josh said that. But listen, it has nothing to do with a bias towards Pittsburgh. I think that because Britt has been off TV for so long, that it's a welcome surprise that she's coming back. And if she were to face Tony, who she has history with, then absolutely. Sign me up for that.
So the initial pop, Britt will get a big initial pop. I feel like wrestling fans are just so fickle that she'd get that initial pop, but by the time that they put the belt on her, which would be hopefully a month's time, hopefully it's not in 2-3 weeks, but if they get it onto her in a month's time or at the next pay-per-view, maybe it won't be so bad. But if they bring her back, get that initial pop, and then, hey, I'm challenging you for the belt in 2 weeks, and she wins, that next week's going to be real rough.
I disagree. I mean, look what happened with Statlander. Statlander came back, unannounced after Jade Cargill had a match, challenged Jade for the title, ended Jade's undefeated streak in like 2 minutes, and she was fine.
Very valid point.
I disagree with they're not going to turn on Britt that quick. It's not like Britt has been like taking up so much time on TV. She has been off TV since losing to Statlander back in September?
I think so.
So I don't see it happening. Plus, I maybe it's just me, but like the timeless Tony Storm character is cooling off a little bit to me. It's still good.
More people are paying attention to what Mariah May is doing now.
Yeah.
Which was the intention of the storyline from the very start.
So this maybe Britt comes back and doesn't win the title, but maybe it's a way to get her back on TV. I don't know.
Get her back on TV is ASAP. The women's division has been missing a Britt Baker, and that's for damn sure.
Yes, they have. Because it's weird to see, especially when you have, Deonna Purrazzo on there. That has she done anything lately? Like I'm really
after the Tony Storm rivalry, no. But you also have to remember, and this is my number one gripe with Tony Khan booking. He will put somebody into the title picture, and the moment that they lose, you are at the very bottom of the card, or you are getting lost in the shuffle. Jay White, the moment he lost to MJF after getting built up for the world title match, got relegated to Ring of Honor for the trios titles. Darby Allin, it took him getting with Sting to get him back to where he needed to be. Who else can we put into that category?
I mean, we could go on and on, but let's focus back at the TBS Championship match, because we're talking about Black Excellence. So let's talk about Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné. I feel like this match is going to be an absolute banger. Is it upsetting that Willow Nightingale could possibly have a transitional championship reign for Mercedes to become TBS champion? Yes. I mean, we've wanted Willow to have a championship for a while now because she's such a great character. She's such a good wrestler.
And this will also be the first pay-per-view match that is a black wrestler versus a black wrestler for a title for AEW. So that's a big one too.
I mean, the Acclaimed and Keith Lee and Swerve.
Oh, yeah, tag team titles, but singles titles at this point.
Gotcha.
First one-on-one title match.
I was thinking,
unless I'm missing something. Did we get Hobbs versus Scorpio Sky?
That might have just been Hobbs and Wardlow.
No, Wardlow just has a lot of Tanner.
I'm pretty sure Hobbs defended the title on a pay-per-view.
He did defend it on a pay-per-view, but I do think it was against Wardlow and Keith Lee. I think it was a triple threat.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think it was a fatal four-way, because didn't they launch someone else out of that ring?
Maybe. Anyway.
It's a big match. It's a big match.
Yeah. I think it means a lot to AEW to have a championship on somebody with the credibility of a Mercedes Moné. That's not to knock Willow whatsoever, but
you're talking in terms of elevation of the title.
Yeah, elevating the TBS Championship, which, Jade Cargill did a great job with the TBS Championship, holding it as long as she did. She made that championship important, and it meant something when Chris Statlander beat her.
It really did.
So maybe Mercedes keeps away from the World Championship picture for a little bit to elevate the TBS title, and then once she loses that to somebody, then she moves on to the AEW Women's World Championship. I don't know.
This could also be a good way to get Willow into the World Title Series.
That's possible too. And speaking of people who have had championship matches against Willow Nightingale, who have defended the world championship against Willow Nightingale. We have to talk about Athena, who is having the run of her life right now as the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. You have to wonder at this point who is going to beat her, because it's not going to be Billy Starks, because Billy Starks is Ring of Honor World Television Champion, Women's World TV Champion. So you have to wonder who is going to step up in that position to beat Athena. I don't know if there is anybody. I kind of want Athena to hold the record of the longest championship reign in Ring of Honor history. That would be cool. And she's only about 100 days off. Like, she'll beat it this year if she does beat it. But who do you guys think? Who do you think would be the best possible person right now? It could be in AEW, they could be in Ring of Honor, they could be somewhere else. It's not going to be Julia, because Julia signed with NXT now. Who is it going to be? I don't know if there is a current person. Like, I'd say you could put it on Deonna Purrazzo, but the problem with that is Deonna Purrazzo, when she was still in TNA, competed on AEW Dynamite and lost the Ring of Honor Women's World title to Mercedes Martinez. I don't know if I would go that route to have Deonna win a championship, and like it almost feels like a demotion. Because Athena's done such a good job as Ring of Honor Women's World Champion that it needs to be given to somebody to elevate them as well. I don't know if Deonna Purrazzo needs that. At least not with that championship. I mean, like a surprise winner? Like, if you're going with somebody that you're going to elevate, like you could have like a lower card person win it. I wouldn't have like Mariah May win it to impress Toni Storm. I don't think that would do any good for anybody, because then you'd have both titles bogarted on AEW TV. And I don't know if we want that. What do you guys think? Let me know.
I apologize. Our cat decided to get the cone off of her neck, so it became a two-person job really quickly.
I gotcha. So I was talking about potential challengers for Athena. Who do you think would be a good challenger to possibly take the title off of her?
Man, are you ready for this? Because it's still day one. What I said, it's the Minion. It's got to be Billy Starks.
See, Billy Starks is TV champion, though. Like,
yeah, that means she has to defend it on TV. What, every week?
Maybe, but I don't know if I want Billy to be that person.
Because I would like Billy to be that person for storyline purposes, but
she's also had a shot. She also had the shot at the title, and she didn't win.
What JJ said is a good one. Serena Deeb coming back from injury would be a fantastic.
Listen, I would love Serena Deeb to get that kind of respect. I'm signed up for that. If Serena Deeb took it from Athena, that would be great. Because
if you want a real hard-hitting match, one that would be, and we can stick with, Black Excellence here. You got Queen Aminata and you've got Trish Adora both down in Ring of Honor, and both of them can put on a 5-star performance. Oh, absolutely. Queen Aminata is a good shout. I would like to, you know what? Let's say Queen Aminata. I think Queen Aminata would be a good Ring of Honor World Women's Champion.
Especially because we saw what she could do against Billy Starks in that.
Oh my God.
And like the emotion that you grabbed from her face when she thought that Billy was like legit injured.
I thought she was legit injured.
Yeah, she was.
And it would tie into storyline as well.
Exactly.
Billy beat Aminata. Athena didn't. That would be a hell of a storyline there.
Exactly. So yeah, I'd be fine with Queen Aminata. I'd like to see Trish Adora. I feel like Trish Adora, though, hasn't gotten the kind of respect booking wise that she deserves, because
The infantry just does not get the respect that they damn deserve, man.
yeah, that's very true. Um,
The infantry is a damn good faction.
didn't Nyla Rose already lose to Athena?
I want to say that was beginning of the year, or end of last year. I think that was
I know that
final
feud
battle.
happened. I know
I
that
think that was
feud
final
happened.
battle.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure Nyla already had her shot.
And Greg is looking for new challengers because Athena's had a 500-day run. She could lose it to someone she's faced before, but we are looking for new challengers.
Yeah, I don't want it to be similar to Cody Rhodes' story where he got the shot, probably should have won, didn't win, had to win the Rumble again, and all that stuff happened. It needs to be somebody who will be elevated by the victory. And,
Aminato would have one hell of a run as champion too.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I'd be perfectly happy with that. And it might be too early to talk about challengers for Trick Williams because it's very tricky too.
He literally won the belt last night.
He won the belt last night, and the draft is this week. So we don't even know what's going on. We don't know who's going to be in NXT. And we don't know who from NXT is going to be called up. So it's really hard to determine that because it's not going to be Iron Survivor. Iron Survivor is later in the year. I don't know who I would want to face Trick Williams for his first defense. I feel like Trick's going to hold that championship till at least Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, I'd say a 6-month run is about the length that I would also look into for a Trick Williams run. Yeah. We could also go for a full year, but yeah, no, that's who it needs to be. That's who I want it to be. If it's not going to be Dijak to take the belt off of him, is Tony D going to hit the main roster before he wins the NXT title? Is he going to be one of those guys?
I feel like
being Tony D'Angelo.
Tony D might have outgrown NXT, but I also don't know if he's ready for the main roster either.
You know who I would like to see as his first challenger?
Who's that?
Charlie Dempsey.
Charlie Dempsey would be an interesting choice. Also, Karrion Kross. If the Final Testament gets drafted down there, Karrion could kind of lay claim to the NXT Championship since he's had it twice. And maybe give a good match for Trick Williams. Trick would still beat him, but Karrion Kross was.
Trick and Corbin could be fun. I feel like their styles might clash a bit too much. I just want to see him. I
feel like Trick and Corbin. I feel like Trick and Corbin would be a good match. Here's my problem. I don't like seeing Corbin lose more than he has to. And listen, seeing him with the NXT tag team titles with Braun was just. It made me so happy.
Baron Corbin with gold just made me happy.
It made me so happy because he hadn't won championship gold for like almost 6.5 years.
That being one United States title run.
Yep.
He did look good with the U.S. belt too, though. The old U.S. belt.
Yeah, the old U.S. belt. I feel like Corbin's going to be called back up. And I hope he stays as a babyface. I hope Lexis King and him don't have this lengthy, drawn-out feud. I don't know how I feel about Lexis.
They just started it on Tuesday, Greg. I think Corbin's staying in NXT.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
But yeah, no, Trick Williams, there's a plethora of people that he can face, and he's going to hold this belt for a minute.
Rick Shinsuke would be interesting.
Oh, yeah. Especially since Trick is kind of solidifying, the high rising knee as one of his finishers, or as his go-to.
Yeah, the trick shot.
Yeah, I'm liking Trick Williams as world champion. Fuck you, Dave Meltzer, for saying he ain't good, because if you listen to that crowd, man. Also, before anything else, the respect that Ilya Dragunov showed to Trick Williams, a man who has less than 3 years of in-ring work, is insane, because Ilya's almost a 10-year vet at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Ilya going, I respect you. You got it, kid.
Yeah.
Insane match, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I don't think I've heard the NXT crowd that hot or that loud since Full Sail days.
They showed one camera shot right after Trick won the title.
It was rattling.
The camera was shaking. Like, I don't remember ever, not ever, but like, it's been a long time since I've seen so much noise in a place that the camera was shaking.
Also, Emmanuel says, nice haircut, Greg.
Yeah, thank you. You're the first one to say anything besides Maddie. Josh says it's too soon for Obafemi. Here's the thing with Obafemi. The way Obafemi has been booked...
More Black Excellence, by the way. Obafemi, North American champion.
Exactly. If you put Obafemi against Trick, you better put Obafemi over. The way he's been booked, he should bulldoze through everybody and just have that be his thing.
You ever imagine what it would be like?
Because he's a beast.
You ever imagine what it would be like if Goldberg was actually good? That's what Obafemi is.
That's exactly what Obafemi is. He can cut a promo.
Is so good.
Yeah, Obafemi is like, he used to play college football, and like,
yeah, I see it.
Yeah, well, he played for the Crimson Tide of Alabama, which is like, that soured me on him a little. Then I saw him in the ring. It's like, okay, I can forgive him. I mean, Josh, they could give him the Keith Lee treatment. But, what I would do is I wouldn't have him lose it after a month like they did with Keith Lee. Because that's what that's probably why people turned on Karrion Kross initially. Because I think it was only Karrion Kross's second NXT pay-per-view match was against Keith Lee.
I also remember that being the absolute worst match on the card. Keith Lee versus Karrion Kross. But I also remember hearing, I think, Kross separated his shoulder in that match.
Yep, he did.
And he had to vacate the belt like immediately after. So Keith dropped the belt for fucking nothing.
Yep. Which led to Finn Balor becoming NXT champion again.
Which wasn't a bad thing.
No, that's never a bad thing. And then, of course, Finn had to drop it to Karrion Kross once he was healthy. But anyway.
Yeah, more Black Excellence. Obafemi. We've got 2 black champions in NXT. We got 2 black champions in AEW. I mean, main roster WWE. Come on.
Yeah.
Throw the tag belts on the Profits, because
here's what I would do with Obafemi. Here's what I would do with Obafemi. If you're going to take the North American title off of him, he has to lose it in either a multi-man match or like a ladder match where he doesn't have to be pinned. Protect his character that way.
I mean, that's the smartest way of doing it. And if you do it in a ladder match, can you imagine the sight of Oba just ripping a gimmicked rung off the ladder so that people can't go up higher on the ladder?
Yeah.
Like, imagine.
That would be pretty crazy.
Because they've already got Oba doing these, like, mythical spots. Like, that spot in the Triple Threat match from the last TakeOver. I'm still calling them takeovers. Where he's literally got Dijak on his shoulders, who's got Briggs on his shoulders. No. You can put every belt on Obafemi, and the only way you get the belt off of him is through, like, a ladder match. Or, hell, you can even do it through, like, a battle royal or something like that. Because the only way you're dropping that belt off of Oba is not by pinfall.
Yeah. You can't. Obafemi feels like he's going to be a force. And, like, he's somebody that if you sent him to the main roster, like, if you made him debut in the Rumble, if he didn't win it, he would need to be eliminated by, like, 8 guys.
Oh yeah, if you put him in this upcoming Rumble, you have to have either one of your established monsters eliminate him, or you have to have whoever's in the ring eliminate him, like the entire group.
Or he wins.
Or he wins the damn thing.
I would like to see that kind of push. Like, make your main roster debut in the Royal Rumble match and immediately go to WrestleMania and face like the World Heavyweight Champion or something.
Still holding the North American and NXT title.
Exactly. Like, he could be the belt collector. That'd be fine.
Yeah, no. Obafemi is legitimately the future of the monster in professional wrestling. Like him, Hobbs, and Wardlow.
Javon Evans, like he.
Oh my God, the young OG, 19 years old, and it makes me sick how athletic this kid is.
Oh yeah, I'm nearly twice his age, and I'm like, I hurt when I get out of bed, and here he is doing all this ridiculously athletic stuff.
I'm 26, and I hurt when I get out of bed.
Yeah, Javon Evans is going to have a massive future. As long as he stays healthy, the sky is the limit for him.
Here is my only worry, and it's because of he is so springy. He is so athletic. And luckily, Ricochet has never had like a horrific knee injury.
Right.
I'm always worried about him, about Ospreay, about all these ridiculously athletic people. Javon Evans is 19 years old and doing this shit.
Yeah.
I don't want his knees to get Tommy John, essentially.
What needs to happen is he needs to work with a good strength and conditioning coach to make sure that his legs are not overworked. Because that would be the problem. If you overwork your legs,
he's got a very similar build to Kofi.
Yeah.
You can easily have him talk with Kofi whenever they get the chance passing by. Have Kofi and Xavier come down to NXT for a little bit, because Kofi will be able to tell Javon, hey, this is how I've been able to prolong my career. This is how I've been able to do this. I don't know. I feel like that would be an excellent coach for Javon Evans in terms of the strength and conditioning.
Emmanuel was saying, did it pop up or no? Look at Tiffany. Was it too soon for main roster? No, just sometimes you need to see where it goes. Absolutely. Tiffany Stratton is.
Well, she knows what her character is.
She knows what her character is. Her athleticism is ridiculous. She is learning so quick that putting her on TV on the SmackDown brand, which I'm guessing is where she's going to land.
I think she's going to stay there, yeah.
Yeah, she's going to stay there. And so after the draft, it's probably going to be her and Naomi and Bayley in some kind of championship, like triple threat or feud or something. I think that's good. Will she win the championship in her first go-around? No. Will she have this championship match and basically plummet down the card like Lacey Evans did? No, because I think there is more gimmick with Tiffany Stratton that is better than what Lacey Evans had. Don't get me wrong. When Lacey Evans came onto the main roster in 2019, I liked the character work, and the ring presence was kind of there. Putting her in a main event 2-3 months after her main roster debut, I don't know if I would have done that. But, yeah. Tiffany Stratton, I think, is better suited for that.
Reminder, all champions, with the exception of the women's tag champs, are staying on their current brands.
Which is good.
Sense.
Which is good.
That way we don't have a really weird segment where someone's switching the fucking straps.
That's probably exactly what it is, because we've seen those awkward switch segments multiple times. It's weird.
It don't work.
It doesn't work, and it doesn't make sense to count it as another reign. It's like you didn't really win them. But And just speaking of Black Excellence, I feel like Bianca probably goes to Raw to get her away from Damage Control.
Oh yeah, this can actually stay in more of the category of Black Excellence, because with Raw going to Netflix next year, you want an established star. You want somebody with the presence, the following, the draw of a Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
So I can totally see her going to Raw and being one of the fixtures for Netflix's Raw going forward.
I think that's a smart move to put her on Raw. Just because I think Raw needs the women's division needs shaken up a lot on both brands. So I'm hoping Bianca does go to Raw. It'd be interesting to revisit the feud with her and Becky if it comes to that, or a heel Liv Morgan and Bianca. Here's the thing though: if the women's tag team titles are the women's tag champs are eligible to be drafted, but they still have to defend across multiple brands. So it doesn't really matter where Bianca and Jade go. They can probably still win the tag gold.
And does Jade Cargill stay on SmackDown or get drafted? I feel like she's going to stay on network TV. I feel like she's going to stay on TV as opposed to going to Netflix.
Yeah. Again, we will see. Like the draft is going to be a big deal, and just like the NFL draft is going to be starting tomorrow.
Oh dear God, I don't even want to think about that, Greg. It's going to be painful.
I mean, we will recap the full draft next week on the show.
I just want a fucking quarterback.
Yeah, have Zach Wilson, buddy.
That's not a quarterback.
Listen, you want to talk about Black Excellence? The Steelers have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Booyah. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Anywho.
And the Broncos are paying for Russell Wilson's deal, pretty much.
I don't even want to hear it.
We'll talk about that next week. What other Black superstars have we not covered that deserve that love and respect? I mean, all of them. But
all of them. Let's go through and give love to those that might not have gotten the love throughout their career. I'm going to throw out Jazz, female wrestler. Whenever I was growing up, Jazz was like the most dominant threat to any women's champion. That being Lita, that being Trish Stratus. She dominated Trish Stratus throughout their rivalry back in 2002. So, Jazz, Shelton Benjamin,
absolutely. I would like to see him win a world championship somewhere. Like, even if it's like, if he went to Ring of Honor and won the world championship, I would be happy.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I've always said I want another Shelton X Benjamin run where he goes to Japan and just kills it out there.
Let's show some love to Maven as well.
His YouTube is destroying any semblance of kayfabe left.
Bobby Lashley
from Colorado Springs.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley's been fantastic.
Profits.
One
that is always brought up, but never respected enough. Ron Simmons is there. I will throw out an inspiring wrestler, character-wise, because you didn't see anything like him other than Jake Roberts back in the 90s. Coco Beware. I absolutely loved Coco Beware, one of the innovators of the Brainbuster in the WWF.
Let's also throw out Ricky Starks, who deserves way more than he's actually given. Like, Ricky Starks is just so damn good.
We've got Big E in here. He may never wrestle again. One of the greatest wrestling what-ifs if he never had the unfortunate one-time world champion, though. One-time world heavyweight champion.
If Big E never wrestles again, he's had an amazing career that, like, anybody would be jealous of.
Longest reigning tag team champions of the modern era.
Until the Usos, yeah.
Until the Usos.
But yeah, Big E is absolutely has a Hall of Fame career. Speaking of Hall of Fame,
Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog, who was the last entrant in the first ever Royal Rumble. Fun fact.
Of course he was. Of course Greg would throw that out. We can throw out Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. They're still holding it down for the New Day.
Yeah,
Xavier
the New Day
Woods,
are doing good.
Xavier Woods showing that there are many other avenues of being a pro wrestler than having to be on TV all the time.
Exactly, and Xavier Woods, I still would love to see a singles run for Woods because he won King of the Ring, which was like one of his dreams. But I would like to see Woods be the third and final member of the New Day to win a world title. I want to see that because he's got the ability to do it. He just needs the right story. R-Truth, obviously,
of course, over a 20-year career. Former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, current Raw Tag Team Champion.
Yeah. Josh said, "What's up?" which I'm guessing is referencing Devon Dudley. Who else? I feel like we have way.
No, there's an entire list. We can go on more, youthful wrestlers. Myron Reed's killing it. Trey Miguel is killing it.
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline. Elix Skipper, one that doesn't get enough credit. The wild top cage Hurricane Rana.
Especially after that. Like, that dude walked a 20-foot high steel cage, like tightrope walked it, did a beautiful Hurricane Rana, and then got zero push out of it. Hi, Jeff.
Hello. I was there and watched it live, and it still didn't amount to shit. So there you go.
There you go. I saw you in the chat. I was like, I know he was there for that.
Yes, I was.
Which is hard to believe that was almost 20 years ago.
There was still a scar on my arm from Val like gripping me as we were watching up in the Eagles' Nest as Elix did that ridiculous nonsense for no reason. It turned out to be no reason whatsoever. They lost the match and got no push out of it. So there you go.
Yep. Alicia Fox and Naomi, obviously, very talented.
Yeah.
Also, somebody on Twitter had the balls to say earlier today that Naomi's overrated, which is way out of left field.
That's also bullshit.
Yeah, I was going to say, how about shut the fuck up about that? That's ridiculous. That's absurd.
Yeah. How can you hate Naomi? Naomi, besides being incredibly athletic, is also an incredibly likable person.
Yeah.
Like, how do you hate Naomi? Like, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah. How do you hate somebody that has talent and is a decent person is beyond me. So.
Yeah. Speaking of Naomi, shout out to Jimmy Uso, who's healing up from an injury.
Yeah.
Which we'll probably find out later on. But another name that we can throw out there, World's Strongest Man, Mark Henry.
Yes. Absolutely. And of course, we can't forget Booker T. Five-time WCW champion.
That's right. But he still didn't get Taker to the Taker Rooney, so he's lacking in that.
And he's half black and half Samoan, The Rock. Obviously, you got further.
Oh, yes. Yes.
One of the innovators of the high-flying genre, Too Cold Scorpio, we can throw out.
Wow, Too Cold Scorpio is so good.
Scorp does not get near enough love from this generation, and it is.
No, he does not.
It is unfortunate as hell, and I get it because there's not a whole lot of
Godfather
current Scorpio out there. Like you have to dive deep into the network or Peacock to find Scorpio, and it's ridiculous. But
other young kids. Oh, sorry. Other young kids that are insane. Kevin Knight, who's wrestled New Japan, wrestled TNA. I think he's only like 22 years old. He's insane too.
Baby. Yeah.
I'm going to shout out a couple here. We mentioned Booker T. Harlem Heat was one of my favorite tag teams growing up.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And also WCW, the first black wrestler to really capture my attention, somebody I really enjoyed who doesn't get talked about a lot, Sergeant Craig Pittman.
Dude, like Pittman was there at a time where characters were starting to become like characters, but Pittman if they
He was
defend
so
the right
good.
character for him, the dude had the basic raw ability. He just didn't have the right gimmick at the right time. That's all.
I liked his gimmick though. Like I thought him.
I did too.
Him being a drill sergeant, it really worked for him. Like he looked like he could just like whip anybody's ass, and like unfortunately, like with the NWO coming in and all that stuff, like his booking didn't reflect that.
Right.
But I was just so drawn to him at a young age.
It's funny to mention The Godfather and think about, I'm not personally high on Charles Wright just because of all the kayfabing we've received at the Casa from him. But when you think about it, he could have been part of the NWO and then didn't take something happened in the conversation and ended up booking Mike Jones instead, Virgil, and paid him like half of what they were offering Charles Wright. It's like, man, if he'd have gone to NWO in '96, there would have been no Godfather. And I dare say if he'd done that, he may not have ended up having a Hall of Fame worthy run.
Yeah.
So just something to think about.
Also, shout out to Virgil, who kayfabed everybody even past his death.
Yes,
Oh,
he did. Damn him. By a decade on his age. Yeah, that's next level.
That's
Still the biggest work in the business.
Yeah, that's good. Like that's very good.
Such a freaking mark for himself, and I love that about him. That's great. Jay Lethal was mentioned. I love
respect
Jay
the hell out
Lethal.
of it.
I love Jay Lethal, second in Macho Man impressions, only to Greg Cherry. Only second.
I mean, Lethal like went full out. I think Lethal's got me beat. I do a decent one. I don't want to be compared to Lethal on that.
Okay.
We mentioned.
I appreciate you putting me over. I do.
We mentioned Ron Simmons earlier. We got to mention Butch Reed as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Got to mention both
again,
members of Doom.
Yeah, Butch. Yeah. Well, yeah, because Carlos going to talk about Doom the movie. Butch Reed, unfortunately, again, he's one of those guys, like, if you don't dive into the archives before 1992, you're not going to find a lot of stuff. So,
just inducted into the Hall of Fame, Thunderbolt Patterson as well.
Yeah.
I was about to mention with Butch Reed, we mentioned JYD being the first person to be the last one in the Royal Rumble. Butch Reed was the first person eliminated from the Royal Rumble. Ever.
Yes, ever.
So, fun fact for that.
Oh, yeah. D'Angelo De Niro, the Pope,
man.
Elijah Burke.
Elijah Burke, man. Yeah, Elijah Burke. Other than meeting Pope a couple times and interacting with him at work or whatever, my favorite pronunciation or mention of Pope is Dusty during his Hall of Fame ceremony. Where Elijah Burke at? Okay, now where Micah Hayes at? They're wearing the same damn thing.
Classic Dusty.
I miss Dusty. Oh yeah, Marcus Corbin
and of
again.
course,
dude.
Last one before we go off the air. Monty Brown, baby.
I was about to say, how are you gonna call him Corvon over Monty Brown, brother?
Yeah.
Nothing in wrestling. There was few things in wrestling that straight pissed me off. Monty Brown facing Jeff Jarrett for the NWA title and not winning is one of the things that pissed me off. I was so mad.
We were all
Monty Brown never winning the TNA title, mind-boggling. He should have been NWA World Champion 2 times over before he retired. 6 years into his career.
Yeah. Greg will remember because he was just starting into his no DQ fandom as we were really pushing hard on Monty Brown and his success, man. We were all, and freaking JJ was just all over Monty Brown. He loved Monty Brown too. And we're starting Dynamite with 2 guys that don't deserve any respect. So we'll go ahead and say off the air.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jeff, I appreciate you popping in here at the end.
It was one of those, like, I had to come in real quick, and I did want to, I wanted to apologize to the Greg Cherry audience for not showing up near enough. And I know it's on my channel too, and that's fine, but it's just been so chaotic on Wednesdays, but I happened to not be home on a Wednesday, and I was out running errands. I came back. I got time. Screw it. So here I be. I'm literally in Arizona this week. So if you guys didn't know, so yeah, just keep tuning in, guys. We've got content all week on our channel, across the multiverse. It's going to go across Greg's channel as well. We're actually going to be covering the draft both nights. So not watch along, just post shows, but we're rolling along, brothers. But Dynamite's on, so let's do it.
Yep. And I will throw out the plug. I believe it's this Saturday, open mic night and game night, where I have to defend my open mic night game night championship that I won back with The Price is Right. Playing Match Game, I believe, correct?
Yes, it is not in the thing, but yeah, it's going to be at our usual 8 o'clock time Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern. That'll be the first hour of Mike Night. Will be our game night special, and the winner, by the way, the winner will go on to the following Saturday if they're available. If not, we won't call it interim because that's Tony's deal. But the next Saturday will be Star Wars trivia in the style of Jeopardy, and it'll be on, of course, May the 4th. So back-to-back game nights.
I can tell you for a fact, I will be there for the Star Wars trivia, as I am a massive Star Wars nerd.
Yeah, we are on all day with Star Wars stuff. I mean, granted, the first half of the day is Backlash and the No DQ post show for Backlash, but we've got both Dad's episodes we did that cover Star Wars, and then from 8 o'clock on, it's Star Wars trivia, and then our open mic night. So we are doing a whole May the 4th gimmick. So
Cool. I will actually be out of town that weekend anyway.
All right,
I
well-
will not be. I'm just telling you straight up because.
well, no, that's fine. If you are going to be out, then Josh, you have to super chat to declare for trivia. Manuel's only in because he's a previous winner and he actually did super chat, and Greg's in because he's defending for this week. So whoever wins this weekend, now granted, if Greg doesn't win this week, if Greg wins this weekend, obviously we have to defer to the challenger because he's not going to be there. But Josh, you got a super chat for that. You know better than that, Mansfield. But we'll talk all about that off air. But that's next Saturday the 4th. This Saturday, again, match game. We've got that. We've got the draft post show the night before. Tomorrow on the Stat Boy Sports Bar special NFL draft across the multiverse. So he'll be covering that tomorrow. If anybody wants to pop in, starting at 7:30 Eastern, we'll be covering the NFL draft. God help Mikey.
I was about to say, God help Mikey. We're doing the same thing over on Raw Ball, and
Yeah. Well, there you
with the Broncos and Raiders being 12 and 13,
Yes.
me and my co-host are very, very looking forward to hopefully moving on.
There you go.
And I don't know if the Steelers are going to have a pick because we may trade out our pick for Brandon Ayuk. Who knows?
I think you guys are at least in the second round, but you might be in the first still. And Josh, to answer your question, it's $10. So if you want to do 5 to each channel, that's okay too. 5 to me, 5 to JJ. That works too. That way we get it going. So yeah, it's $10. Muy fácil, or very easy for
There
you
you
non-Espanol folks.
Yes. So go, everybody. Enjoy Dynamite. We appreciate you for watching. We'll be back next week. We're definitely going to talk about the NFL draft. We're going to talk about the WWE draft next week and maybe some more stuff. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up for you. Hopefully
Yes.
some certain things work out that I have planned for some future shows. And that's all I will leave you with. I'll tell these two off air. So that is all for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us this week, and we will see you next week for another episode of The Greg Cherry Show. Don't be a jag. Have a good night.
Well, if you're going to be a Jag, go to Daly's place because they're having trouble filling that place.